I'm really pissed off and want to vent. I even cried reading the things she said, and I don't know what to do. I don't need any advice. I just want to vent. My father has been married to my stepmother for 5 years. He has been divorced from my mother since my younger brother was 2 years old. There is no beef between them, and they have a great co-parenting relationship. I have a 17-year-old sister, a 16-year-old brother, and I'm 25. Then my father has a 3-year-old son with my stepmother. I found her Reddit account in a pretty random way. Since I'm only home on the weekends, I let her use my computer, and she forgot to close her email. She doesn't post too much, but she comments too much. I was honestly going to close the email, but it caught my attention that all the replies were from a step-parents subreddit. So, curiosity won me over. I know, it's not a good thing to do, and curiosity ended the life of the cat. The first thing I saw was her last post, in which she detailed things about my life in a random Reddit sub, criticizing my decisions and even lying to get people to support her. She has posts on that site talking about how happy she feels when my siblings are not at home. My sister adores her, but she has comments talking about how she can't wait for them to turn 18 and leave the house because she just wants to share the house with her family, my father and her toddler. It seems that she doesn't see us as her family. She has a lot of comments answering other people that it's totally okay to not love your stepchildren because they're not family, and it's okay not to consider them one. She has comments talking about how much it bothers her when my dad and brother have sleepovers. They just watch a series in the playroom and then go to sleep, as she is tired of hearing the laughter of a teenager and can't wait until we all leave the house so my father can be with his real family. But what she hates the most is having to learn sign language for my little sister. It had always seemed strange to me that my stepmom still struggles with sign language, but now I know that she never really put in the effort to learn. My sister always said that for many people, sign language is very difficult, so I never said anything. But now I know that she always found it stupid to learn how to communicate with my sister when my sister always tried to help her. I was too surprised by the hatred she has when my father spends time with me and my sister. Her jealousy towards us is so obvious that it disgusts me that there were so many people who told her how they feel the same way about their stepdaughters, to the point of sexualizing things. My siblings are not problem children. They even love her very much. And what fills me with anger the most is that she is so false in front of us. Do you know the number of times I offered to babysit my stepbrother so she and my dad can go on a date? All those times, she refused to let me take care of him. But now, I saw comments that she left about how I am living at my father's house and I don't help her at all, only for other people to respond saying that she should give my father an ultimatum to make me leave because I'm too old to live with him and he has a new family. I cook my food, do my laundry, share a room with my sister, and I help my father pay the bills while she doesn't. I only come home on the weekends because I'm doing a police academy course full week. I don't even care if I'm making it too obvious who I am. It was my father who told me to move back with him so that when I come back from the academy on Friday nights, it will be a shorter trip. She sexualizes my interactions with my father, saying that it is not normal for me to sleep a nap hugging him and that I should know my place. He is my father. What the hell is wrong with her? I'm so disgusted. Now for a few important comments. One commenter suggested showing her father what the stepmom really thinks of them all, warning that once they're all eventually out, she might work to keep it that way and isolate him. Another commenter added that she would make sure they don't get any inheritance. Then OP replied, saying that they don't think their father has anything to inherit. When asked why she is in the police academy, OP explained that she lives in a third world country where many women in vulnerable situations join the police for free healthcare, education, and money. She criticized those judging her for her career choice without knowing the circumstances. In response to whether she has had a relationship with her stepmom, and if they have talked regularly, OP said she would have taken the time to chat with her stepmom about her feelings before knowing all of this. But now, she doesn't care about the feelings of someone who accuses her of wanting to be with her own father and dismisses learning sign language for her sister. Later, OP decided to delete the post, explaining that she can't tell anyone what happened because she's basically locked up in the academy until Friday morning. Someone shared the situation in the step-parent sub to warn her stepmom. OP has screenshots and a video showing it's her stepmom's email and comments. She doesn't want her siblings to find out before she tells them and is concerned about the post being shared on platforms like TikTok. She plans to update when she talks to her family. OP expressed frustration at some people complaining about her hugging her dad, saying she also takes naps hugging her mother or siblings. She apologized for having a loving family and not being surrounded by perverts who see a hug as something intimacy. She mentioned that she might provide an update next week as the academy keeps her busy. Now for the post. Oh honey, my heart breaks for you. You do, though, sound very mature and responsible. I have helped my sister raise my niece, who is now 23 and is totally alienated from her dad, who left my sister for his now wife when my niece was only 10 months old, and step-family, because her stepmom is much like yours, but has done far worse things, but then, in a narcissistic way, blamed it on my sister and I. My niece acts very tough and nonchalant about it, but a good few months ago, we were watching Hope Floats, and she just burst into tears, sobbing, "Why doesn't Dad love me? What did I do wrong?" There is no perfect outcome for this, sadly, but I do feel that she needs to know that you know, and so do your mom and siblings. If possible, do it in a calm, factual way that protects your integrity. From my experience, do not respond and or mirror or act like her. Always maintain your dignity and equilibrium in spite of what people here might say. Always maintain the upper hand. My sister and I did not, and sadly reacted to a lot of what my niece's stepmom did with rage. She, as any good narcissist, would in turn use this against us. Now for the update. Hi. For now, I'm going to post this little update here, since I haven't spoken to my father yet, but I spoke with my siblings and mom. I told my dad that I was staying at a friend's house when I left the academy, but I actually went to my mom's house and told her everything. She doesn't even know what Reddit is. That site isn't used too much here, but I translated the comments and posts for her. I showed her the videos and my mom was furious. I explained to her that in the comments, BM, it's Madre Biologica. I was confused about it too the first time I read that. Also with SM, so my SM also made comments and posts complaining about my mother being that they have always had a cordial treatment. But still my SM was lying, saying that my mother was troublesome. No one in the comments said anything. Everyone supported her, and they recommended that she should move far away with her legal family, far away from the problematic BM and kids. First, we told my brother, who was also upset and said that she was a fake, but that he has seen her ignore my sister and pretend that she does not see or hear her a lot of times. He explained that, like me, it also seems strange to him that SM has not yet learned sign language. My siblings spend a lot of time at my father's house, just like English or Spanish. Sign language is much easier to learn if you live with someone who uses it every day. Therefore, it is strange that SM doesn't use it. He said that even my father has offered to pay for her classes, but she says she doesn't have time. We asked him if he noticed any other behavior of that kind, and he said that SM doesn't let him take care of our younger brother, which she also does with me. But curiously, she does let our sister take care of him, so I don't understand that. Other than that, she's never treated him badly or anything like that. At the time of telling my sister, she was the most hurt. She cried especially because of SM's comments towards me, calling me an intimacy worker. It's kind of ironic how the comments towards her affected me, and the comments towards me affect her. Haha. Something that my sister noticed that I didn't is that almost all of SM's comments are criticizing me, my sister, and even my mother. But of my brother, she has only criticized sleepovers or when he comes back late from being with his friends. But she has criticized my and my sister's clothes, made up things about my life, and confessed that she hates it when we hug our father. She said we're too clingy. She talked badly about my mother, etc. My sister said it's sexist and maybe she's got some mental problem. My sister said she always believed SM didn't really hear her and she maybe wasn't speaking well and didn't understood her. I think that's the shittiest thing of all. My sister's greatest pride is being able to pronounce some words no matter how short they are, or if they sound like noise for some people. We understand her, but SM made her feel insecure every time she ignored her. I know that my sister always justified that by believing that it was her mistake and that SM made an effort to learn, but it was simply more difficult for her. But now we know that no, she was never interested in learning. I'm getting mad again as I write this. Sorry. My mother said she was going to talk to both of them, mainly because even though it's an anonymous site, SM's way of expressing herself is sick. And she's not going to let my siblings be around someone like that. Oh, but she's venting. Being a stepmom is lonely. I received comments like that. It's not the same to say I feel lonely and I feel stressed than to say my stepdaughter behaves like an intimacy lover just because me and my minor sister use a bikini for the pool. Her account is old. She's been leaving comments like that for years. With lies, with complaints we never heard before, it's just messed up. We arranged that we're going to tell our father all together and show him everything. So we're probably going to tell him tomorrow because I need to leave to the academy on Monday. My SM account is not deleted. It's crazy how she makes things up to get approval from strangers. At this point, I don't even know if she's crazy or a mythomaniac. I would like to go back to her email since the password is saved, but I don't know if she will receive a notification of that because this time I closed the account. Now for the next update. We talked to my father over the weekend. For now, he is staying at my mother's house. It is a complicated situation, since in the middle of everything is my half-sibling too. During the weekend, I went to my father's house, and the first thing I did was tell my stepmom separately that I've seen her Reddit account, and I'm going to talk about it with my dad. She told me that I can't condemn her for something she uses as an intimate diary, but I told her that this is not a diary. It is a social network where she makes her problems and lies public. If someone other than me discovered her account, then what was going to happen? Were they going to believe all the things she invented? If her identity was revealed on that account by someone else, I would have too many problems and could even be kicked out of the academy. Again, there's a big difference between saying I'm stressed and my stepdaughters behave like sluts around their father. I simply told her that my mother and sister also know it and would come to talk about it too. She, for obvious reasons, just went to lock herself in her room, not wanting to talk with me. Once we talked to my father, I showed him most of the posts and comments. There were so many crazy comments that I think it would take me too long to read them all, because they were just so long too. She's that kind of people who comments the bio of their lives in the posts of other people. My father got angry. My stepmother never expressed having a single problem with us like that. The situation would be different if we knew what she thinks about us. My father went to look for my stepmother, who refused to talk about it and was mostly angry with me for violating her privacy. My father told her that she's insane for thinking that my sister and I sexually provoked him, that he can't believe the way she talks about my sister and the happiness she expresses every time my sister goes to the hospital and is not home. How she expresses counting the days until my siblings stop going to the house forever. My father told her that she knew he is a father and that he would never leave us aside. She made her decision, and even so, instead of talking about her problems, she decided to create an account to play at being a victim. She said she needs a place to vent, but he told her that venting is not the same as telling lies. Venting is not the same as hating your stepdaughters and talking horrible things about them, and she could have spoken about it and not just lied. They argued a lot, but it didn't get anywhere because she kept defending herself, and my father only told her that it was over. My mother told my father that she is not going to let my sister and brother be around a woman who is clearly mentally unstable because no normal person thinks like that. After arguing too much and even trying to make my stepmother understand that what she did is wrong, she just justified herself all the time. My father went with us and told her that he is going to come back just to see my brother every day, but that he no longer trusts her and never saw that side of her. She lied for so many years. Nothing really went as I expected. I think I at least hoped that she could apologize, but I think she doesn't even think that what she did is wrong. In her mind, everything was totally justified because being a stepmother is difficult. But nothing justifies her being so cruel and poisonous. But yeah, that's what happened. I think it's hurtful to know that someone can hide that much darkness inside. I wasn't too close with her, but I liked her to the point of sharing my clothes and things with her, so I also feel sad about it, mostly for my dad. I would like to just say that she is insane, but I think that would give room to justify her behavior. She is simply a two-headed viper. Now for a few comments. One commenter asked if her account was still up or if she deleted everything, expressing disbelief at her actions and hoping things work out. I responded that the last time I looked, it was still there, and I have her email password saved on my computer. If she doesn't delete it, I'll tell my sister to do it for me. Some people told me that they have recognized some of her comments, so yes or yes, I will delete the account if she doesn't. Another commenter expressed shock at the situation, saying, "Wow, just wow. You think you know someone, and then 1 second, bam! I'm so sorry you and your family are dealing with this. The stepmother is off her rocker. Does she need constant attention and approval? She needs therapy, and most likely the whole family, because this is a traumatic event and major trust issues are now forming. Stay well, stay strong." Now for the 1-month update. Hello, it's been a while, and I honestly forgot to make an update. Not many things have happened, but I just want to update for people who are worried. My younger brother has been visiting us. Our father still lives at my mother's house. Luckily, my stepmom lets my dad bring him home some days of the week and on weekends. I deleted her account weeks ago. She didn't tell me anything about it or if she saw any TikTok or post about this. Maybe now she's afraid to use Reddit or something like that. I only deleted the posts, but there were too many comments, and I honestly didn't want to waste my time deleting them one by one. I'm not sure if comments are automatically deleted with the account as well. I'm not going to talk too much about her and my father's relationship, but she continues to deny that she did anything wrong and has a very misogynistic way of thinking about women. Apparently, she does not intend to change her way of thinking. It's too crazy how now we know her dark side, but at the same time, she's still her with my little brother and even my father. My father is separated from her for now because he doesn't have money to pay for the divorce. She said that if they come back together, she will not let me enter her house after what I did. So my father decided to stop trying with her. I have no idea what legal arrangement they have on the house or what will happen when they divorce. But I guess my father is going to leave the house to her, and he's going to find another place to rent in order for my younger brother to suffer as little stress as possible from a separation. For a toddler, moving is a lot of anxiety, so it's better for him to stay comfortable in his place. I wouldn't have any problem with that, and neither would my siblings. I prefer my brother to have a home and suffer as little as possible from the separation. So yes, that has happened. I'm surprised that a month has passed. I feel like it's been 7 years, but these kinds of serious processes last months, so nothing interesting or anything like that has happened. For now, I'm glad my little brother can be with us. Now for the 1.5-month update. Hello, it's been a while since I last posted here. I just wanted to give one last update before leaving this for a few months, since things like divorces take a lot of time and long processes. Much more so when minors are involved. If my father and stepmom agree on everything, the divorce process can be finished in 3 months, but if not, it can last up to a year. It all depends on them. This will probably be a pretty boring update, but I want to reassure people who are worried about me and my siblings. My father has the screenshots of everything, even the video of me entering her, stepmom, account from her email on my computer. I don't think it will do much good during divorce since internet laws are a gray area here, but it's always better for him to have that just in case. Needless to say, stepmom will be maybe in 3 months, if everything goes well. Officially only my little brother's mother, and no more my stepmom. Luckily, she lets my little brother come to my mother's house and spend time with my father and us, as always. He comes almost every day of the week. My father is going to leave the house to her so that the divorce will be the least stressful for my brother. At one point, my father wanted to ask her to let me stay there on the weekends when I come back from the academy, but I told him not to do that. Honestly, I'm afraid to wake up and find her at the end of the bed looking at me like misery. I don't want to share a house with her at all. The only and last time I had a conversation with stepmom again, I asked her if she wasn't ashamed of anything, and she totally ignored me. I think the most affected by this was my sister, who feels she has suffered discrimination from our stepmother, and I honestly believe her. My sister has told us about some situations that she let go of, but now realizes were micro-discriminatory behaviors against her. Although they were not things like making fun of her in front of her face, there are microaggressions that we often decide to ignore, but they are done with malice. For example, my brother said that SM once said that my father's sons salen bien del horno. At the time, he took it as a random comment, but now he thinks it had a double intention towards me and my sister, like saying that we didn't come out well. Again, things we like to ignore and think, nah, it was just a random comment. She has never apologized. She has the kind of mentality that the husband is only the wife's man and the partner comes before the children, which in my opinion is nonsense because she's only jealous of me and my sister. Imagine being jealous of your husband's daughters. SM strongly believes that she didn't do anything wrong except not to have written that in a secret diary. At least she now admits that. Maybe in 10 years she will realize everything else. My father, for obvious reasons, has gotten tired of trying to talk to her in a mature way, so they are going to divorce. I guess she expected it because she didn't make any fuss or anything like that. Divorces are a long and expensive process, so for now my parents, and SM too, are focusing on not letting my younger brother feel those chaotic vibes, and my parents are taking care not to let my sister feel too bad either. They will go for joint custody, since my father could not take care of my little brother 24/7 because of his work, and anyway, they would not give him to him since he does not have a house or all the things that the courts ask for. I think the least affected by all this is my other brother, who is in Neural. Dad, she's a witch, just find another girlfriend mode. But I guess that's how teenagers are. Anyway, there were people who found some of the posts or even comments, which surprised me, lol. I've also been getting harassment from people from that sub, but know that I've already deleted the account. Congratulations to those who found the account. Am I the idiot for refusing to let a 9-year-old join my private DD game despite his mother's demands? I run 2 D&D games. One I run at a local game shop. It is family friendly and I welcome anyone who can behave and take a shower. Second game is run at my house with me and my 4 oldest friends. We get drunk and screw around in the campaign. It's a campaign we have been running since 5e first came out and is very much built around our terrible humor. Very not public play space friendly. New player is a nice 9-year-old kid named Simon. He loves playing in my public game and found out I run another game. Asked if he could join, and I told him it wasn't really open to new players. He was cool about it. Simon is a good kid. Simon's mom found out later when she picked him up and tried to force him into my other game. I had to get the owner to help me calm her down and get her to leave. Simon was in tears apologizing. I felt so bad for him. Owner told Mom if she ever set foot in his store again, he'd ban her and Simon from the store and get the police involved if he had to. She left in a hurry and almost T-boned a car in her rush to leave. Simon's dad drops him off now. He came to me and the owner and begged our forgiveness. Turns out Mom wanted Simon in my game as a form of babysitting so she could go out and party with her other terrible mom friends. We told him, as long as it's him dropping Simon off, there won't be any issues. He's a good kid, and I'd hate to lose our monk. Now for the 4-day update. Hey everyone. It has been pure chaos the last few days, but after everyone was so nice, I figured I'd let you guys know what has happened since it's mostly good news and should put some minds at ease. I ran into Simon's dad and his sister Anna at the store, and they invited me out to lunch to chat. Simon's doing pretty well, all things considered. Dad says he and Mom were already most of the way through the divorce process, but he and his almost ex-wife agreed to keep it quiet until they had finalized some agreements. Mom showed her butt yet again and basically admitted she didn't want Simon very often and negotiated for some money in exchange for giving full custody to Dad with a few holiday visitations if she can make it. She's moving a few states away to live with some of her friends from college. He doubts they see her more than once a year, if that. He said it went as well as he could have hoped. He's just glad it's almost over. Auntie Anna, as Simon calls her, is Dad's sister. She's stepping in to help with Simon while Dad juggles everything. She brought him to the shop this weekend, and she hung out by me while I ran the game so she could learn. Everyone had a good time. Even got a few giggles from Anna, so I'll consider that a GM's job. Well done for first impressions of the hobby. Shame the first RP she had to see was me as Marty the farty lizardfolk merchant, NPC that they ran into last session. Lots of hissing and farting noises out of me for 15 minutes. Simon was able to pass enough con saves to buy what the party needed from Marty, discounts in exchange for risk of poison damage, and they tricked the corrupt town guard into accidentally arresting themselves due to an elaborate performance by the bard and Simon's monk. Game went well. Anna and I talked while Simon looked at all the dice sets for an hour after the game. She's been pulled into a parent group of parents of kids in Simon's class. I guess Simon has all the other kids wanting to try playing, and since my private game is on hiatus for at least 6 months, I offered to run one if the parents were comfortable with it. I end up getting added to the group chat, and Anna's house is where we're gaming. Next day, Anna and I met up for lunch, and I helped her put together a gaming space in her living room. A few of the moms came by to drop off some snacks and to introduce themselves in person. I feel like I've been adopted into a family of families, but I don't even have a family of my own. Everyone has been great. I'm so glad Simon is surrounded by these people and not people like his mom. The kids were all very well behaved. Anna and I were a bit nervous being the chaperones for a bunch of kids, but Simon's friends are great. They all had a blast, making characters and doing the test encounters I had for them. There's a girl that made certain she was always seated next to Simon and barely takes her eyes off him. She has a huge crush on him, but don't think he even realizes what's going on. It's adorable. Parents were all happy with game night, and honestly, I liked running for all kids way more than I had expected. Anna and I agreed we were fine with doing this regularly, so now Anna and I are the game masters to everyone. Also, I'm now Uncle Caleb to Simon. Not sure what I did to earn the title, and I definitely didn't get emotional when he called me that. So that's about it. I still run 2 games. I've been adopted by a 9-year-old, and I've taken over Anna's living room with minis and battle mats. Simon is an incredible little dude, and I'm glad to have met him and his amazing family, one parent excluded. I've known this woman for about a week, and I've already fallen hard. Infatuation levels are all set to max. She's incredible. Going to be spending a lot of time with her for a few weeks, and I and a lot of folks we know are saying I should ask her out. I'm going to. I just want to let us get through this busy point and take a bit of time to get to know her more first before I do that. Now for the update. Hello everyone. While this is an update originating from a post on RPG Horror Stories, there isn't much of a horror story anymore. Just some updates on my situation and the people in my life. I wasn't expecting as much interest after the initial drama, but I've also been made aware just how much of a dense goober I am, partially thanks to folks on Reddit pointing some things out. My nephew Simon is the coolest little dude in the universe. His interest in board games is starting to really take off ever since Anna brought him over to my place and he saw my shelf of games. He absolutely loves Ticket to Ride. I gave it to him and he wants to play it next game night. The public game party is now chasing the big bad through a few portals leading to a chronomancer's domain in the stomach of a kraken. so that should be fun. Simon has expressed interest in learning to DM. I'll teach him everything I know. I would gladly play in any campaign that boy runs. He said he has some ideas, and I intend to help him make those into dice-based reality. As for how he's handling the situation with his mom, Simon is doing well, but he struggles. He's very clingy toward Drew. I'm betting this is normal for kids in Simon's situation. Simon has Drew, Anna, and a good head on his shoulders. He'll be fine. Drew and Simon spend a lot of their time together just doing little projects. They're currently putting together a puzzle while watching Simon's shows. Drew told me this was a once-a-month thing due to his work schedule. Now it's several times a week, and they both love it. Drew did need a little time to decompress from dad mode, so one night, he and I went out to a bar for a few drinks. He told me about his plans to take Simon out of town on a father-son trip. Simon's just excited the hotel has a pool. Drew says he doesn't plan to date or do anything anytime soon. The ink's still dry on the divorce papers. I think single dad is what I want to be right now. He wants to focus on Simon and figuring out what life looks like for them going forward. As for Anna, she was initially busy balancing work, Simon, game nights, and a bunch of other responsibilities since she stepped up to help Drew. Things stabilized a lot faster than anyone expected, with the divorce resolving smoothly and Simon being the easiest child in the world to take care of. Now that Drew is using vacation time, she has had a bit more free time until he goes back to full-time work. So she's been catching up on some of her hobbies, like baking and playing games on her Switch. I had to come over and run the cables to hook it up to her TV because she couldn't reach. She also needed my help setting up her Wi-Fi when she got a new router. And she has had multiple issues with her laptop that I've had to resolve for her. That woman is brilliant in every other regard, but truly clueless when it comes to tech. But I was paid for my ticket resolutions and homemade meals, so I'll call it even. The more time I spent with Anna, the more confident I got that asking her out was the right call. So I asked her out, and she said yes. Unfortunately, Anna gets migraines semi-regularly, and one hit her just before our date. I came over and she was visibly miserable, but trying to convince me it was okay and we'd still go out. I practically had to order her to go get into bed, got her migraine pills and some water for her, blacked out the curtains, and told her to call if she needed anything. She called me a few hours later asking for something to eat because she was feeling better, so I got her some dinner and ate with her. She kept trying to apologize, but I told her to make it up to me with another date next day, which we were able to actually go on. It was a fantastic night, had some amazing food, and walked around town and talked. And then went back to drop her off, and we sat out in my car for another hour and talked. The last thing she said before getting out and running in was, "You're my boyfriend now, by the way," before shutting the door. I had no intention to argue, even if she'd left me time to. Since then, we've gone on a few more dates with our free time, and we're both really happy with how things are going. It turns out Anna was a few days away from asking me out herself if I didn't make a move. She also hasn't stopped teasing me about Marty and his farts. And I told her about the werewolf Pierre Wolf I'm using soon, and she won't stop patting my head and calling me the good boy. I'm not giving her character previews anymore. I guess that's it. In the last few weeks, my life has changed so drastically, it's insane. This may be strange to say, but thank you for sharing in this internet sharing circle thing that this became for me. Am I the idiot for walking away from a controlling fiancé who turned my life into a financial prison? I'm wanting to call off my wedding because my fiancé is a control freak. Background: I'm 32, she's 34, we're Catholic, she has 3 kids from previous marriage. We were dating for about 8 months, then decided to get engaged because things were going well. I felt like she was my person, she felt the same. I did great with the kids. We were both only getting older. We're supposed to get married in December, but I don't want to anymore. I moved in about a month ago to save money in the name of trying to pay off as much debt before the wedding so we can buy a house soon after. This is when everything changed, I feel, for the worse. She instantly wanted a joint bank account. I didn't want to because I felt it'd turn into a control situation, and it has. When I told her I didn't want to, she said, well, maybe we shouldn't get married. She controls every bit of the money and everything else down to what I eat. I have to ask to spend $4 on medicine when I'm fighting a sinus infection. We aren't hurting for money. I make $75K after taxes. Backstory on my health. I have had ulcerative colitis since I was 20. Had my colon removed when I was 25. I literally have to eat more than I used to because I don't absorb everything like a normal person. She gets mad at how much I eat. I have to sneak food at work. I've tried to explain it to her, and so has her mom, but she doesn't get it still. She tells me I have to work at least 70 hours a week, MF, and what I can on SAT when we don't have the kids, so we have extra. I don't spend money on anything. I use my personal money, so I have the amount of food I need. This was a fight to get what food I do have for work. Proper nutrition and rest, which if I want to sleep in, I get fussed, are super important due to my health. I mistakenly take something that was for the kids, I get in big trouble. Even if it just cost $1, or even if I don't take some leftovers to work that I try to leave for others so I'm not greedy, I get blamed for wasting food, even though she didn't tell me to take it and has yelled at me for taking too much. So damn if I do, damned if I don't, right? She shows little to no affection. I work 12 hours on my short days, around 15 on my long days. I only have 1 or 2 short days a week. I'd like to feel wanted and desired when I come home, but I feel nothing. I don't ever get a hug, kiss, or any kind of excitement when I get home after a long day. Some of the long days mean I don't see her for 2 to 3 days at a time. There's no sort of excitement, just what more can you do around the house? Hell, I've even gotten in trouble for sitting down for 10 min when I got home one day because I need to use my time better. I take care of everything around the house, such as yard work, home repairs, doing everything else when no one feels like it. Heaven forbid me if I forget to do one thing after a long day. Getting help from the kids is a chore. I'm feeling used, and much like I'm just here to give money, do add much as I can, and if I bring something up, it gets turned back on me. Am I crazy for not wanting to go through with this? We already had a talk about how I can't live like this, and it was good for a couple days, then back to the regularly scheduled program. So I don't feel like anything will ever change. Ever. When we had the talk, she straightened up a bit, but over the next few days, she made jokes about what I brought up, so I feel like it meant nothing to her at all. I don't know what to do. Now for a few comments. One commenter said, "Keep your dignity, move out ASAP, and call this off. You're not a 4th child for her to manage." To which OP replied, "I'm glad you said this because that's exactly how I feel, a damn child. The things she says to her children, she says the exact same to me, and I'm never allowed to explain anything ever. She just wants to hear sorry, and that's it. The things she says to me, I'd never dream of saying to her." Another commenter mentioned, "Come on, man. You don't need Reddit to tell you the answer here. You know what to do." OP responded, "I know. I guess I just needed validation because every time I talk to her, it's made to feel like this is how it's supposed to be. When there's kids and we need to budget and there's little to no affection because she gives it all to the kids and we're past the honeymoon stage." Now for the 1-week update. We had an additional talk. And some of y'all stated that she will say what I want to hear, and then it goes back to the same old crap. And you were 100% right. I've been playing the game and seeing her responses on things. She flips the responses to seemingly be different than they were, when really she's just saying the same thing. For example, I explained that I was still hungry after dinner, and she said word for word, "I think you should just focus on not being hungry, then you won't want to eat." So I just grabbed a water and went about my business. Like, are you kidding me? Right after we had the discussion about my body and my condition. Anyway, I've got a plan together. I won't be able to enact this plan till Friday next week. The car we got is in both of our names, but I'm only on the loan as a cosigner. So I'm getting a rental because I can afford it when some psycho isn't controlling my money and I'm loading everything I can in there and heading out of town while she's at work. I'll be going to my parents in the next state over. She won't be able to find me, which is good. I'm so getting a new phone and number before I head out of town. I've got my direct deposit changed, new bank account, and while I'm at work, I'm calling to get her off my credit card and everything. I'm waiting for the payment to post to the card from our joint account, well, sometime next week, so I'm not stuck with the balance that's on there. I'm also pulling what money is rightfully mine out of the account before I leave and then taking my name off of it. There's a significant amount in there. I'm cutting my losses on what I've already paid towards the wedding and everything else. I don't want that money to taint my new money. I'm expecting her to freak the hell out and blow my phone up, but I don't care. Just getting my plan together has been so liberating. On my way to my parents', I'm meeting a really good friend of mine who's been here through this whole process for lunch. Then on to my parents. I haven't even told my parents yet, so they don't know. I've got all these crazy ideas of things I want to do and will finally be able to do once I'm out, and it feels so damn good. I can't wait. I don't know if I'm more anxious to get back to who I was or more anxious about her reaction. Either way, I don't care. I have to go. Now for a few comments. One commenter said, "I think you should just focus on not being hungry, then you won't want to eat." How the frick does someone focus on not being hungry? If my man is hungry, I feed him because I love him. Now for the post. Exactly. You'd think that, but no. I can see her watching me when we are at her parents'. She even scolded me in the car one time because I ate too much chips and cheese dip when her mom made a huge bowl of it after church one day. Her mom has even told her to back off and that I need more food with my condition. She's told me before when her mom has made me food after church. Her mom is a saint and a retired nurse, so she knows that I shouldn't have accepted, but on the inside, I was happy I was getting more food and it was dang good. Now, for a few important comments. A commenter said, "I've talked to older men in your position who didn't leave, and many years later, they are an absolute shell of themselves. Miserable and full of regret. They spent the only life we have to live as a prisoner because they didn't have the strength to stand up for themselves and walk out. You are so doing the right thing. Please update us with the aftermath. Best of luck to you." Then OP replied, "Sad thing is, I already feel like a shell of myself. I look forward to going to work every day even though it's long hours there because I can let my personality fly and be my normal goofy self and make people laugh. If I do it at home, I get told to stop because I act like a kid too much. I'm a big goofy kid at heart and love making the kids laugh, and they enjoy it too. But she's not a fan. Reading and typing this post is liberating in itself. I can't wait to get back to who I really am." When OP was told to sell the car, he explained, "The hard part about this is we just made the first payment on the car. That's how new it is. It's a nice car and I can afford the payments, so hopefully she won't put up a fight with that." When asked why he is leaving the car with his ex and still making payments, OP clarified, "Sorry for the confusion. The payments come out of the joint account, which I've stopped my direct deposits to. I'm leaving the car with her so she can't report it stolen, and then I'm thrown in jail or something crazy. So while a rental is expensive, I can afford it. So to rid myself of any possibilities, that's what I'm doing." Now for the final update. 8 days later. A few have already asked for updates, so here goes. All good news. I am out and free, and I feel great. I left early in the morning with as much stuff as I could. I went to the next town over and sat in the parking lot waiting for the rental place to open so she wouldn't have a chance of browsing around town before work and find me. Before I got the rental, I got all my money out as well. After getting the rental, I went back to the house to get more stuff. She had, I guess, gotten the hint and locked me out of the house. But I got all my important and expensive stuff out, so that's good. I went back to the bank and got a printout of all the transactions from the joint account, and I was immediately pissed off. I had to ask for medicine, but there were so many Amazon charges, charges for going out to eat, transfers of money to different accounts, and everything. But I had to ask to spend $4 on medicine for a sinus infection. It looks like she was transferring money, so I couldn't track it all. I gave the printout to my friend so she can get me a spreadsheet together to track everything easier. While driving down to my parents', 4 hours from where I live, I was able to get all my passwords to every account reset and removed her as an authorized user on everything. Also, before leaving, I got a new account debit card and switched all that over. After meeting with my parents, I went to an old friend's, someone I've known for 10 plus years but hadn't seen in 2. Her mom made me a hell of a meal fit for a king. We later went axe throwing and had a good time. I spent the night there, and her mom made me a really good breakfast. Her family is such a good family, and they consider me a son, so they were happy to have me over. Her mom asked if I just need a key to the house. This morning, I drove back to my parents, and we went to a flea market, and I was able to spend my money on whatever I wanted, and it felt so good. This is the life I want to live, not a life constrained by a crazy person. I feel great, I'm doing great. Leading up to leaving, I was getting super anxious about it and having trouble sleeping. Hell, I saw my ex Monday and some Tuesday, but because of my schedule, didn't see her for 3 days. No, I miss you, no nothing. Just messages asking me to do things. Also, on the way down, she didn't try to contact me at all. I left Messenger open and will until everything is buttoned up, but everyone else is blocked on everything. She did try to contact my parents, but they didn't answer, thankfully. I've got quite the road ahead of me to get where I want to, but it'll be an easier road to travel than what I was doing. I've already contacted a flight school and will be enrolling to get my private pilot's license in the next few months, and I can't wait. It's been a huge dream of mine since I was little. This has been the best thing I've ever done for myself and my well-being. Looking forward to see where things go and where I can take it. Thank you guys again for the sound advice. Only thing I have left to button up is the vehicle we bought, but I ran out of time. I've got a meeting with a lawyer next week to get it taken care of. Much love to y'all. Now for OP's final comment. 1 month later. Haven't signed on since my last update, but we traded in the car we had together, and I got myself something new, free and clear of her name. She had 2 friends show up to the dealership, a male friend and female friend. Made me laugh because I showed up with no one. Finally got all my stuff as well. She waited till the last day, of course.